First tonight at 6, the train of presidential candidates makes a stop in the Ohio Valley today. Good evening, I'm Holly Samuels. Right now, folks are still processing the message sent by Republican presidential candidate Mitt Romney. Today, he stood on stage in Beavercreek vying for your vote. Our Mark Allen was there for the event, and he sat down with Romney to get a better idea of his views of being president of the United States. He joins us live with the very latest. Mark?
Holly, thank you very much. With the exception of a visit by Newt Gingrich here a couple of weeks ago, the battle here in Battleground, Ohio, at least for us here in the Miami Valley, have been fought to this point primarily on the airways. But that changed today when Mitt Romney came to Beavercreek to rally the troops.
And the next president of the United States, Mitt Romney.
With our diverse population, our reputation as a presidential battleground, and with many of the same economic worries that concern the nation at large, Ohio seems destined to once again foreshadow the shape of the campaign. A chunk of the Romney campaign schedule and his TV ad buys show that Ohio is clearly his Super Tuesday priority. And as Governor Romney told me following today's town hall event in Beavercreek, he hopes to be a frequent visitor here this fall as well.
Well, there are a lot of delegates in Ohio, and of course Ohio counts big in the general election as well. So the time we invest in Ohio, the ads we invest in Ohio, they hopefully pay dividends in the general election as well. We want to make sure that our message of jobs, jobs, jobs is heard by the people here in Ohio.
Get out and vote on Tuesday!
The latest polls show Ohio to be a two-horse race with Romney and Rick Santorum in a statistical dead heat. Governor Romney and his supporters hope to gain the edge by spending nearly $4 million on TV ads in Ohio, almost 5 times the amount being spent by Santorum. But Governor Romney says that's not the only difference between the two.
Well, Senator Santorum has lived his life in Washington. He's worked there as a senator. He's worked there afterwards, if you will, connecting people in Washington, D.C. That's his life. I've spent my life in the private sector, starting a business, leading another business, helping turn around an Olympics, finally going to a state and helping get that state back on track. I had the experience of working in the private sector. I think to create jobs in the private sector, it helps to have had a real job in the private sector, and I have.
And of course, they call it Super Tuesday for a very good reason. More than 400 delegates will be up for grabs next Tuesday. That's more than a third of the delegates necessary to clinch the nomination. And of the 10 states weighing in on Super Tuesday, here in Ohio, we are the second largest prize. So a lot of attention will be put on the Buckeye State next Tuesday. The event here today in Beavercreek drew a very large crowd. Our Marcia Bonhart has been here as well and checking in with some of the folks who were here to hear what they had to say. Marsh?
Yes, for sure. Thanks so much, Mark. In fact, they say about 1,200 people were here. They say they are the hopeful, and they came to hear the man they are confident will become the next president of the United States. There was some electricity as protesters were asked to leave the Romney Town Hall. But for the other scores of hundreds, there was eager anticipation, especially for young voters who will be casting their presidential ballots for the first time.
I'm expecting to hear his economic plan for areas like Ohio and places where, we've lost a lot of industries and unemployment's around 8%, I think, in Ohio, which is a little bit below the national average, but still a hideous rate.
Some were disappointed.
He spent more time talking about the president rather than what he was going to do.
Others, who are veteran voters, were quite satisfied and happy with the outcome.
We got to shake his hand, too, which was very nice, yes.
And what he was saying to the crowd.
Yes, he said a lot of the things, addressed a lot of the things that we were thinking about.
And of course, another GOP presidential contender, Rick Santorum, was in the Miami Valley as well. We're going to send this back to you now, Holly, so that you can introduce that story.